So on top, there's the Bethlehem 3483, and below it, there's the Bethlehem 3737. Very similar cars, with a perfunctory look. Most people failed to differentiate the two. But in reality, a comparison of these two cars stops at similarities. And that's one of the things that I hope to evoke in this presentation. These cars are different in every way. So to begin, the 3483 is a shorter car than the 3737. And the end sheets, and this is the major spotting difference of the two cars, are considerably shorter. That's due in part because the car itself, the rail to top chord height, is shorter, but also due to the fact that from the bay, the slope sheet angle to this post here is 30 degrees on both cars. But on the Rio Grande car, between this end post and this corner post, that slope sheet angle becomes 45 degrees, whereas on the 3737 it's a constant 30 degrees. I created this and posted this on our blog, which can be found on our website, Exactrail.com, which identifies many of the differences between the two cars. Let's give that a closer look. So, difference number one, the Rio Grande 3483, photographed here, and the Missouri Pacific 3737 photographed here, has different corner gussets on the sill. The 3483 has a reinforced bolstered type gusset, whereas the 3737 is flat. This characteristic also bears through on those gussets with the cut levers. The cut lever mounting brackets are different, which, by the way, is accurately rendered on our car. The air reservoirs mount differently. The 3483, the air reservoir mounts to the slope sheet bulkhead, whereas on the 3737 it mounts to the floor. The gates are very different. The Bethlehem 3483 has double door locks built by Wine, and this heavy door brace between the gates and the locking mechanisms, whereas the 3737 has single Wine door locks. I'll show a different picture of those here. Got the 3483, the 3737. The brake rod on the car routes differently across the car. On the 3483, it runs transversely across the car above the center sill. As you can see, it passes through the slope sheet bulkhead, and analogously on the other side, it emerges from the car at that same location. Whereas on the 3737, the brake rod is routed underneath the center sill of the car. You can see the car wheels down here, car bays. The slack adjuster is protected by a brace in unloading. That we've modeled with etched metal. Turned out very well, in my opinion. I'm going to show a different picture of this as well, so if it isn't clear, hang on, I'll try to make it more clear. But the brake levers on the cars are different as well. The 3483 has a small brake lever. It's in this location. It's mounted to the draft box there. Whereas on the 3737, the brake lever is huge. It goes all the way up to the top, almost to the slope sheet, as you can see, and all the way down, almost to the wheel axle. So it's deep down into the wheel well area of the car. Different picture to illustrate what I mean. It's here you have the brace for that brake lever. The The top of the brake lever is up here in this area and down here in this area. So this massive brake lever. The bell cranks on the two cars differ. On the 3737, the bell crank is mounted below the end cell. On the 3483, it's above the end cell. Retaining valves are in different locations. Uniquely on the 3483, it's to the end, whereas on the 3737, it mounts to the side. The point is that although these cars are similar, the comparison stops at similarities. The 3483 and 3737 are completely different cars. And from a project development standpoint, for us, the cars are separate and unique in every respect. A person's inclination in design would be to take the 3483 or the 3737 and then in the design process morph one car into the other. That's not what we've done. We built an entirely unique research package for the one car, the 3483. We did the design, started the tooling on that car, and then started the design package for the 3737, and then moved that project into our process flow. So they're completely unique cars. And all of the features that I've identified are accurately captured on our model. Very proud to say. There is no shared tooling whatsoever between these cars. So now that we've compared the two cars, let's compare some of the nuanced lettering types, specifically between the Chicago, Eastern, and Illinois, and the Texas and Pacific cars, and try to lay bare some of the nuanced differences of lettering types. For the Missouri Pacific 3737 hoppers, I've been able to identify 10 paint schemes, 10 groups of paint schemes. Because these are what are being released in the first, we'll make a comparison of those two paint schemes alone. So we'll be comparing the Chicago, Eastern, and Illinois and the Texas and Pacific cars. This is a picture that I took of the Chicago, Eastern, Illinois car in Provo, Utah. I took this year, 2013. It was a great find, at least I felt it was. It's in as-delivered paint, more or less. Original single consolidation lube stencil to that end, the original chemical bank truss stencil. They are scrapping these cars in quantity right now. In fact, in Provo, Utah, they've built a rip track at considerable expense, and they're bringing 3737s and 3483s in quantity into the Provo yard and running them into the rip track, tipping them over, loading them up on trucks, and hauling them off. So they're getting harder to find. Here's another picture of the same car, close up, and our model. The first delivery of Chicago and Eastern Illinois cars had a unique lettering font for the reporting marks and the road numbers. This lettering style differed from the second delivery, and the combination of these lettering styles is unique to this first lot. We refer to this lettering style as Missouri Pacific Standard. Now, I've never heard these named, right? So to be able to refer, sometimes you've got to name things yourselves. That said, I did make this presentation at the Missouri Pacific Historical Society annual convention in Pueblo, Colorado this year, and nobody had a problem with it. So it's going to stick. This is a photograph of the class car for the Texas and Pacific delivery. This was photographed again in this year, 2013, in Idaho. I took that picture. And it was terribly cold and snowing, and this is a true whiteout. It's not been photoshopped. It's actually as the picture was taken. So here you can see a little better the Texas and Pacific reporting marks. The Missouri Pacific prudently numbered these cars because even though the cars were purchased by different subsidiaries, they were sequentially numbered. And that allowed the Missouri Pacific with relative ease to coalesce all of these cars into one roster when the time came. The Missouri Pacific began merging or merged the C, E, and I and Texas Pacific in 1976. And so it was about that time and after that you start to see the TP reporting marks get painted out and replaced with an M. And then the C, E, and I cars they generally just patched the whole thing out. Specifically, though, let's concentrate on the car numbers themselves. The Texas and Pacific received these cars with a unique lettering style, which we refer to as Texas and Pacific Heavy lettering style. So in the previous picture, you saw the prototype. In this picture, you see our model. So this is the road number, the 0 of the road numbers for the Chicago Eastern Illinois. Here you see the road number of the Texas and Pacific Heavy. I'm going to go through all the road numbers and just to evince the differences between the two. There you have the MP Standard, TP Heavy, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s. Okay. So of the 5 paint schemes that these cars were delivered to the Missouri Pacific, there are 4 different lettering types and styles. So they're all different. And in effect, there's 5 unique paint schemes for each of those. But we've paid attention to these kinds of details, and as you'd expect, they're accurately captured in our model. With respect to paint scheme anomalies that I've uncovered, I do want to point to a few. Again, one of the ways that cars are anomalous is with respect to the style at which the reporting marks were changed through time. There seems to be very little consistency in that regard. Here is the Texas Pacific car. You've already seen this. It's MP, slightly different lettering style. There it's got stencil brakes, the M. Here they repainted everything. And then the Chicago Eastern Illinois cars have a unique buzzsaw. It says, C and EI. That was repainted for a lot of the C and EI deliveries. There you have that with an MP. A little different there. A little different there. This car was unique in that it has a U1 wheel inspection stencil on it. Odd that a 100-ton car with 36-inch wheels would have a U1 on it. Of all the photographs I've taken, this is the only one I've seen there. When you're a freight car guy like I am, you get excited about that stuff. It's kind of like an Easter egg, you find. Yeah, or blue, yeah. So this is a car that I've run into actually a number of times in my travels, and in different states too, which is interesting. But nonetheless, the small buzzsaw herald is moved just aft of center on the car. A unique paint scheme for that as well. So, in conclusion, very much appreciate your attention given to me for this presentation. This has been a great project for us, one that we're excited to deliver. I anticipate our first releases of these cars to be happening soon. The container is on the water, which Richard Hendrickson told me is another way of saying the check's in the mail. So the check's in the mail on this one. I would expect a delivery, and our first delivery in November for these cars. So thank you. Thank you very much.